Like, hold on there.
Yeah, that's after we put the 2 cans with a string down and hung up from our call. Yeah, that's it.
So when you pick up your phone, does it flash midnight? Like a VCR?
On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, RICO charges for Antifa. SIG in Europe is in financial trouble. The Armory move is complete, and America is not winning.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Danny and Marky, and this is episode 178 of the John1911 Podcast, coming at you live from the new Armory facility. So please pardon the echo because we're still under construction over here. How's your day been so far, Danny?
Very warm, very sunny, and very nice.
Yeah, you're west of me, so you get the heat before I get it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get it.
So how hot is it there today?
Well, today was 86, but the weekend forecast is mid-90s with 100% humidity.
Yeah, I better turn the humidifiers back on. I'm in a vault, and the reason I'm in here, it's the only place there's a chair where I can sit comfortably, and I have a little bit of an echo in here, and I turned off the humidifiers for this room just for this podcast. So if you're listening to this podcast and you think it sounds like complete dog shit, let me know, and we'll make a change in the future. So maybe I'll turn the humidifier, but maybe I should turn the humidifiers back on. So Freeze is working. So you were asking me if Freeze is working this week. So it's about 9:00 on Thursday night. So he's probably up now. He gets up he gets up I think probably about 7:30 or 8 when he's working his third. So he's definitely up. He's probably actually driving into work right about now, or about near to. So don't worry about him; he'll be fine.
Well, I worry about my brothers in arms.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You and I are retired. I don't know what you're
well, yeah, the cliche. You know what I mean? Our other the third musketeer. The third musketeer.
Musketeer. Oh my
yeah,
God.
I'm okay.
Wow.
Come on, D'Artagnan is not with us tonight, please.
Please. I've already lost control. So, our fellow night walker, Yeah. There's some guys who are so deep in the third shift game. Like it took me probably 3 years to change my schedule.
Don't we know? Most people they drive by night, but like us, we sleep by day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like it took me seriously legit 3 years. And here's the thing, I still, kind of like if you're, I guess, like an alcoholic or used to be fat, you always have to kind of watch it. My thing is, if I stay up late and then sleep late one time, my body will automatically, boom, it'll revert right back to 20 years of staying up all night and, sleeping all day.
Yes, exactly. Or despite the sleep factor, what this day cannot understand how it might be 2 or 3 in the morning and I hear something and I'm out of bed and 100% ready to go. There's no waking process. It's 100% right off the bat.
Yeah, I've never been like that. I usually have to drink a bunch of caffeine or liquid crack, as I call it. And it always is. I've never been a fast, I have a night personality, but I've never been like a fast, riser. So I usually have to hammer the liquid crack to get me going. So
that's one thing. I don't know if it's a good thing to have going for me, but I have it. So you go ahead.
This is the John1911 Podcast, and normally we talk about guns, and I'm surrounded by guns today. I'm literally looking at racks and racks and racks of guns. But all we can talk about right now apparently is Ron Jeremy getting arrested or indicted or something. I missed all this. So Freeze's spirit animal, the hedgehog, what happened to Ron Jeremy?
Supposedly, L.A. County indicted him on 4 different charges stemming, I believe, in 2014 for sexual deviation, a couple of other charges, couple other charges having related to do with that. But the quote of the year, the quote of my entire life goes to Ron Jeremy. When they interviewed him, after he made bond, he's walking out and they asked him about what the women that brought the charges against him thought. He smiled straight into the camera and said, "They have buyer's remorse."
Oh my God. So are these prostitutes he hired?
Yeah, I didn't get all of the details. Of course, the paper just said 4 women. What their background is, I could only guess. But what it did say is supposedly they were in some skin flicks with him, and that in that time, I don't know if that was off camera or whatever, they are claiming sexual abuse by him also.
Okay, I'm like, my mind is overlooking the edge of the abyss, trying to think of this legal argument. So, okay. So we are in I guess if porn is your job, I guess you can be sexually harassed and assaulted job at work. That would be,
and unless maybe he used a foreign object, possibly. I don't know.
So this was off camera?
They're really not saying. I'm trying to, deep dive into it more. But from the sites that I have been reading on, I would love to see the indictment itself and read what actually it was, but I'm sure the news is probably just reporting on the basics.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, I've been like, we've switched armories. We're in a new location. We haven't been hardly posting for 2 weeks because we just got fiber optic installed today. I've missed a lot of the news. I thought the salacious story of this episode was going to be the teen who stuck his penis into a beehive that I'm not even sure is real. And now I'm listening to a story about Ron Jeremy is a sexual deviant, or like what they say. What was the language? That he's
sexual abuse.
A sexual abuse. So, I mean, I'm not a big porn guy. I've never seen a Ron Jeremy porn movie. Does he abuse women? I mean, this is such a loaded question. I really, I cannot get out of this goddamn conversation.
It is hard to grasp.
Would being with would being with Ron Jeremy in itself prima facie be abuse? Because some man who's called the Hedgehog, I mean, because I'm trying to imagine a woman that would put themselves in a situation to be with him if it wasn't for money.
Well, his publicist and the production company of which he did work for still, I mean, he's 64, 65 years old. They fired him today.
Oh, I thought he retired. I thought Ron Jeremy was supposed to be retired.
I don't know. Maybe he's getting royalties somehow. I have no idea.
Oh, God. I mean, like, look, dude, they are ripping. I mean, look, just irrespective of whether this is legit or just a shakedown for money, if they're tearing down Gandhi statues, Ron Jeremy ain't got a chance. I'm sorry, dude, but I think it's Ron Jeremy's turn to get bent over. I mean, it's going to be Ron Jeremy's next movie is going to be titled Squeal because I don't even know
How'd you like to see his trophy room?
like, oh my God, I mean, I don't know. Like, do you impeach his character on the stand, or do you just whistle past it like you're whistling past the graveyard? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Can if somebody is a lifelong porn, whatever, like if you're Ron Jeremy, whatever that means, because there's, I don't know, like I guess there's good porn and bad porn.
They call that.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, like, I mean,
how,
like, oh, but he's Ron Jeremy's such a good guy. Like, maybe he is. I don't know.
Could you imagine during the deposition the opposing attorney trying to keep a straight face, name, occupation?
You can't even, dude. You can't even say
I know it. I can't. I can't put it in. Well, you get my gist. I what's your occupation? Ramrod.
Oh, I got to get out of this. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. I got to hold it together because I'm not going to edit this out to save you. So you're going to have to learn what it's like to be a professional on air. You can't be Bill O'Reilly and be like, fuck it, we're just going to do it live. Fuck it, because you're live.
I know. So, I have tears in my eyes right now.
Like, I guess I'll mention this because there's a story coming out of Germany. I guess Sig Sauer in Germany is bankrupt. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but
I thought they just bought someone or merged with losing my mind here. Didn't they just pull off a merger?
Well, Sig. Well, here's what I know. So, Rigby, Sig, Blaser, and I can't remember the other one. And Rigby was the latest one. That was over the past couple of years. They're owned by L&O Holdings or something in Europe. There's a guy that, and so I remember talking to somebody from the parent company in Europe. I don't think I was from Germany or not, but he was telling me this was I don't know, this was some years ago. What he said was, Sig Sauer and Sig are, they were a company under this umbrella, and they were an established company in Europe, an older company. They did not expect Sig USA to become so large. It took them by surprise. The success of Sig, this is years before the 320. Sig in the USA making all these 1911s, making all these P226s, 228s, 220s, European-made guns versus American-made guns, or German-made, and like all this kind of stuff. And like even like they and then they're making ARs and just everything that Sig's involved in, Sig USA. I was under the way he was talking, I was under the impression that Sig USA had eclipsed, probably everybody. Like Sig USA, even though they're a subset of a larger company, was really the big dog because they were making the money. And you could even see over the years where, they're making some of these higher end 6-hour pistols before the 320. They started making them in the U.S. Like they're making an American P210, like they just announced this past SHOT Show, which is cool as hell. That is an expensive gun. That's a gun's been made in Germany or made in Europe for years. And now that I know that Sig's in trouble, that makes me wonder if they've known for a while that this is coming, and they've been trying to shuffle some stuff off. It's almost like a corporate inversion. Basically, Sig is getting out of Europe and emerging as an American company.
That's where my mind is drifting off to, of a merger. I believe I read. I just can't remember, to be honest with you. But what I don't understand is Sig USA and then SIG International or whatever you want to call it, maybe instead of being under this larger umbrella with Blauser and everything, maybe SIG will just become its own entity somehow. I don't know.
Well, they're their own entity here in the U.S., but I mean, they're owned by people. They've got backers. I mean, there's an ownership structure there. But like, obviously, if there's a division that's making a shit ton of money, okay. For example, it used to when they were small, like my Blaser rifles. Like I've got a Blaser Tactical 2. The early versions of the LRS-2 and the Tactical 2, if you look at the receivers, they all say SIG on them. Because SIG was the company that represented all of those brands in the United States as their importer. Like that was the one company that was here. And so if you got Blaser guns, they had SIG on the side of them. And I remember Blaser, they were talking about it. This was a separate conversation. They had decided, it was understood, I guess they initially had thought that SIG would be the importer and help grow the brands in the United States. But Blaser USA and Blaser Corporate felt that SIG USA was not paying enough attention to the other brands, and so they stopped running their guns through SIG. Even though they were sister companies through a parent organization, they felt like SIG wasn't really paying attention to them. Like people would call SIG in New Hampshire and be asking them questions about Blaser stuff, and they would give them the wrong information just because SIG was so busy selling ARs and trying to get the law enforcement market that it was causing all kinds of drama with the other brands that were more boutique-y. And so they even started pulling away from SIG in the U.S. for that reason. So it's interesting. Like maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, this may actually go down as the first big, like, hypothetical corporate inversion from Europe to the United States. Because some people say H&K needs to do this on purpose, because it's becoming harder and harder and harder for these companies to do business around the world with the restrictions that Germany in particular is putting on them. And, and then the political climate, and the United States is the largest firearms manufacturer in the world, or largest firearms market in the world. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. I mean, it makes sense.
That's interesting as hell. I'm anxious to see how this does play out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's, it's just one of those, kind of like, I didn't see that one coming. I've been so busy. It's just,
Speaking about guns and you being busy, did you earn your keep over last weekend with all the moving?
Earn my keep in what way? I mean, I'm the motherfucker that has to basically do all this shit. So
that's what I'm getting at. Oh, and from what Freeze told me, and maybe it was you too, your depth perception for dimensions of what can carry in amount of certain things is not too good. Is that true?
You talking about when I was transporting firearms?
Yes.
Oh my God!
I was being gentlemanly about it.
I told this story so many times this week that I forgot I haven't said it on pod. So okay, check this out. So we got a new facility, and there's a deinstallation and reinstallation that has to happen. And so you got to go from one secured facility to another secured facility. And then the thing is, when you're between these facilities, you just can't have your shit just hanging out everywhere. So it's like a choreographed movement. And there's been a couple of these movements, which is part of what I've been doing while we've been waiting for fiber optic to come in over here. So the first movement of the deinstallation, I got the company trailer, 16 foot, 7 feet wide, 16 feet long. Maybe it's 14, but I think it's 16. Freeze thinks it's 16. So I load the thing, it's full of guns, and it's so heavy, I have to make sure, it's a 2-axle trailer, I have to make sure I load forward of the axle most of the weight so it doesn't, turn into like a seesaw going down the road, right? And so I didn't really think about it until I was coming up to a stoplight. I didn't increase the brake control for the trailer. because, I didn't have four-wheelers in it. I didn't have stuff for the range in it. I didn't have a general in it. I didn't have all this crazy shit in it. I just figured it would be fine. And I go to stop at this intersection, and the trailer full of guns starts pushing the truck. I was like, holy fuck, this is a lot of guns. And so, go through all that. Then I had another problem. So, we've got all kinds of stuff, reference guns, working guns. There's, some of the ordnance stuff that's, over here. So I have a choice. I can either get on I have to make a decision on my driving route. Okay. So, and I decided, the discretion's the better part of valor. To get to the new Armory, I figured it was better to drive through towns where I knew the police chiefs and the police departments, and they knew me and they knew the Armory, as opposed to getting on the highway and risk, like hitting a deer, blowing a tire, having the Ohio State Patrol show up, and it'd be the stop of a lifetime, because there'd be so much stuff. They'd be like, so what's going on? And there'd be so much, all the NFA items and all the licenses. There's no way they would let me go. You know what I mean? They'd be like, well, that's a good story. We're going to take everything in until we can confirm all of it. And so I decided, my white privilege wasn't going to carry me down the highway. So I was like, no, I will take the long way. And I made sure I went through jurisdictions where I had personal relationships with people.
You would have thought that the mushroom tires on the trailer would have been your first indication, but you're not a truck driver. So did you do the walk around if you were loaded and do a complete safety check of your vehicle and trailer?
I did. I do. I'm not a complete moron. Thank you, Mr. CDL. Mr. Snowplow. Really? Oh, yeah. Like, you haven't buried a Kia with your freaking snowplow. Get off your high horse, buddy.
Mr. Pre-trip is what it's called.
I didn't know it was St. Danny of Chicago on the podcast. So
I can't help.
Check this out.
Some things just never leave you.
So that'll be the title of the podcast, St. Danny of Chicago. Yeah. So do the move, the big move with the trailer. And so do that. And again, I have to be careful. Like, I have to be super cagey with a lot of this stuff. Especially when it's happening, because I don't want people to know that we're vulnerable.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Because without getting in too much detail, many, 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 many years ago, we actually did get robbed once. During a move, we did. And it was a huge, huge drama. And we're still getting shit back from it. A bunch of gun stores and myself, we got hit. It was the professional ring that hit, a lot of people in the business. Like smashing down doors with cars, and like, it was a huge ring. Interstate, there was undercover buys and all kinds. It's a huge mess. So forgive me for being a little cagey and creepy. So especially when we're vulnerable. So go through the install and get stuff in. Everything's locked up. I'm like, okay, we'll wait till the next day, daylight, to do the next one. I'm like, I don't need the trailer. It'll be fine. I'm sure I can get in a truck. I took my truck over to the Armory, and the old Armory, and it was full. I filled the bed. I filled the back seats. I was covering. This was even worse than the first one, because at least the first move, everything was in a trailer. You couldn't see anything. I had stuff in the back seat of my Tundra with tinted windows and like moving mats layered on top of things just so they wouldn't rub against each other. But if you walked up, you would look in the back of the truck and you could see stuff. And I still couldn't get everything into the truck on the second movement. I had underestimated greatly how much stuff we have. And it's just like, I was just like, holy cow, this is horrible. I was like, this is huge. It's like, well, okay. So I made a point. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to take the long way around to the new Armory again through 2 jurisdictions, not getting on the highway.
How many trips did it take with the truck itself? Just one more, or did you have to make a third trip?
3 more.
Why didn't you just hook up the trailer?
I didn't think I needed it. But like seriously,
Mr.
like
Depth
there was
Perception.
like I remember. No, I had depth perception.
Yeah, okay.
Like what was it? Like I'm in a room and like there's a like a modern vault in a corner, and this room is basically empty. I'm like, okay, I think about that in this room, and I was like, this is a mod. It's like a I'm not a liberty. I don't know what it is, but it's a modern type. All the modern gun safes are the same, right? They're they're like 5 feet tall. They're 4 feet wide. They're not super heavy. They're not filled with cement or steel like antique safes. We've got some of those as well. I cracked this thing open just as a casual. It's full of shotguns. I was like, fucking Christ! There's a whole bunch. I mean, like there was 30 shotguns in there. I was like, oh fuck. And that, it was, I kept finding stuff. And, and then, so just that kind of stuff just kept happening. Like, again, I'm not complaining. It's not like, that big of a problem. But, it's like, holy cow, this didn't go as smoothly as I had wanted it to go. So.
And how many times did you reach the revelation is that's where that is?
There's been a couple of things I found a few things. I'm like, oh man, I forgot we had one of those, or I forgot about, like Freeze, I think talked about on the last podcast because some of that was going on. But yeah, it was, it's interesting. But the new systems, what we're doing is, how do I explain this? The new Armory is, I can say some of this. The new Armory is, we have like the room I'm in now is more of a, it's very, this is video friendly. So this room has a lot of light in it. It has a lot of nice background in it. Non-busy, it's very bland. So stuff will show up well on video. So I can film in here. We can do demos in here. We can even do, some light things in here. And it's kind of segregated from some of the rest of the Armory. Also, this Armory is half the size of the one that we moved out of. Like it's literally, but it's more functional, and it's more of an upgrade. But there is less space over here. So, but it's actually it's a good thing. I mean, it's gonna be well. This is configured better for what we want to do, and hopefully it'll be fun.
I feel so.
We're going to use
I feel sorry for the person that has to do all the cataloging and inventory and categorizing of things.
Well, this will help because we're instead of like we had a lot of in the old place we were doing a lot of hodgepodge racks. Like you would see some racks that were wood that were built by hand in house, and then you would see some stuff that was like some light prefab stuff. But a lot of the prefab stuff racks on the market traditionally, they suck because they don't have enough density. Well, we found a product that the Department of Defense is using I know the Army's using it for sure, and it's their Armory. It's a approved vendor for their armories, and it's high, and they specialize in high density weapon storage. And so, because this is high density, we can get more stuff on their rack system vertically than anything we could build, and you can see it. So you can literally sweep your eyes, and if you know the room that you're in, and like there's a hole here, where's that gun at? You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a lot easier for maintaining inventory and control of stuff. Because someone listening to this is going to think this is like the total bullshit conversation, but like right now, like between the Armory and the range, and then there's like stuff that like Freeze owns. Like for example, like I'm going to admit this right now. There's that 9mm Rock Island 1911 that Freeze picked up right before the COVID outbreak. If you ask me right now where that gun is, I don't know. I'm not going to say I've lost it. I'm just going to say it's in transition in one of these bags from the vehicles into the Armory. But like that's a gun that I've lost positive control over. It's here, but it's not a great situation, like if we can't have like 4 or 5 guns like that.
Wow. It's mind-boggling, I'm sure even more so for you when you realized how much shit you actually had to move.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the inventory control becomes a huge problem. It's just like you take stuff out and then you take it to the range, or you do content with it, or you film with it, and then it's like, well, put it in this side, because like range bags are designed for storage, not for discovery. And so it's nothing to open up a range bag and be like, oh shit, there's a Beretta 96 in here. Like that's happened. Like, how long has this been in this vehicle? I didn't know I thought this was back in the Armory. Like, we haven't lost it, but it's in the bag, in my truck. I don't know it's back there because I've lost control of it, and it's not in the Armory. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
If someone's like, oh, where's the 96? Oh, yeah, it's in the Armory. Go to the pistol rack. And it wouldn't be there. Like, well, now with the new system, visually, it's going to be a lot better. And plus, I'm also going to do an internal online system. So Freeze and I can even let you into it, but we can, like you can see what we have and what's in and what's out and where it is.
Nice.
So
speaking of the pistol rack, find any K-frames?
Aim Surplus sent me this weekend. They got some K-frames in. It was they wanted $400 for them. So it wasn't a New York 1 or New York 2 trigger, but they were where are they? Let me see if they still have them.
How the hell did you find time to go web shopping?
No, they sent me an email.
I was going to say, if you were surfing the web.
They sent me an email when I'm out of the Armory and I could get the internet on my phone. Let me see here. Looks like they got 6906s in. Where is? Oh, hold on. Smith & Wesson, here we go. Smith & Wesson Model 10-4s, Hogue rubber grips. These are plus P rated, heavy barrel, exposed hammer. These are $399. These are good looking guns, dude. I like these. You should take a look at these. Let me know what you think of one of these.
Maybe I will.
I'll send you a link. Right now.
Before I forget, speaking about K-frames, did you see that video of the 2 guys with the K-frame playing Russian roulette, shooting at their feet?
No,
I sent it to you.
You sent something about Russian roulette, but I didn't.
These guys have a snubby 38, and they decide to spin the barrel and play Russian roulette by shooting at each other's feet. You have the link and you have the video. I sent it to you. Well, guess.
Were they Russian?
No, that's from Chicago.
Really?
Yes. And I sent you the video, and guess what? One guy lost. So now he's got a hole in his foot. But the odd thing is, if you watch the video, he lost earlier. So on the other foot. So now he has a hole in each foot.
You gotta be kidding. Were they high?
No, you need to watch the video. They were doing it as a game.
Okay, I'll find the video.
Post and link it out in something that you publish, and it's unbelievable.
Wow.
I guess the boredom is setting in.
Well, I mean, hey, Donald Trump came out and said, through executive order, am authorizing law enforcement to do something about people
desecrating the statues,
tearing down statues. Yeah, and it's like, it's like, hello, McFly. That's called the law. I mean, it's just like, look, I like Donald Trump, but I don't know what's going on with him. There's something wrong with him here. I mean, there's something.
Well,
like, I'm like, I don't understand this. Like,
next thing you know, you'll be tearing down the Pope.
Don't get me started on the commie Pope. Don't get me started on the commie Pope. you're referencing a conversation we had off pod about Danny and I are both Catholics. Actually, all three of us are Catholics, and the subject of the Pope came up. And I do not like the current Pope. I think he's a communist, and I despise the man. I would say to his face, I don't think he should be Pope. I think it's a sin the man's a Pope. And I just, don't even get me started. He's no, you know what? Here, I'll say it in a very Catholic way, and I said it to you. He's no John Paul now, is he?
And with the white doves. Oh, white smoke.
Yeah, no. White. No, I'm sorry. No. White Doves was the Prince concert you saw in 1988. White Smoke.
When doves cry.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's up with General Flynn?
You know what? You tell me. I heard, because again, I've been kind of disconnected. I heard that there was an appeals court did something that basically was going to be, it was a bad sign for the Sullivan judge, who's, I guess, Flynn's judge. And then people were harping on, then I guess maybe they ordered him. They ordered it later. They basically a day or two later, they said, dismiss this case or something.
Yeah, that's what I have read. I haven't found the entire story yet. But my question is, why is Sullivan meandering with the release from him? Why is he holding it up?
I heard today that Sullivan actually basically he decided not to have the next hearing, so I think it's over. I think Sullivan basically let go today.
Really?
I think, and again, dude, I've been freaking busting my ass for 2 weeks. I mean, you should know better than me. That's your job.
Yes, I guess. Well, I don't want to say that I've been slacking, but let's just say the pool water temp was 88.
Dude. You know what? We're gonna send you a 4-inch K-frame revolver, and I want you to do a rust test in your pool with your.
No, we're gonna do that at the range. There's no way I'm doing it in my pool.
Yeah, you're gonna be at the pool, and you'll be like, "I'm testing this gun. Put it in the bottom of the pool."
It works.
88 degrees. Oh my God. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, when we do that 38, I would like to see that on film. That would be interesting.
You're gonna be the one filming it.
How?
It's going to be in your pool.
No, it's going to be.
It's going to be your gun. It's
going to be at the range. I can't afford a new liner. Come on, I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid.
Wait a minute. You don't have a gunite pool?
No.
Okay, look. Let me help you out here. Here's what you do. Just get a big old bucket, a big old thing of Tupperware. You fill it with pool water. You put the gun in the Tupperware. You set the Tupperware the how deep is your pool, Mr. Moneybags? Like 40 feet deep, or do you have like a grandkid section, like where it's 3 feet?
Well, it depends on the diving board end or the. No. It's a round pool. Thank you, a backyard pool. Is that okay with you?
Here's what we'll do: we'll put it in the deep end and tell your grandkids a swan dive. Go to the bottom pool, get Grandpa's gun.
Swan dive in the pool while that guy's holding a gun, gonna shoot in the pool. Here I come, child endangerment.
Yeah. Because, hey, why should I be the only person risking an AP wire service story because move with guns? With this move, I think you should step up.
I am. I will come down and we'll film it at the range under scrutiny of paid advisors.
So I do have to ask this, or like the because like all the stuff's. I guess people are starting to. It's interesting. People are starting to figure out that the Antifa group and the black, I'm going to say, look, black lives do matter. All lives matter. White lives matter. I care about Black American lives. I do. Black Lives Matter Incorporated or Black Lives Matter, CCP, whatever it's called, or People's Republic of Black Lives Matter. It's interesting now that everyone's discovering that these people are all Marxists and communists, because that's exactly what they are. This isn't about, this isn't about what supposedly it's about. But I thought this was so interesting. Because again, I can't read it, but the people in Minnesota or Minneapolis or wherever they live up there, in some uppity neighborhood that publicly said they're not going to call the cops. And so a homeless camp has moved into their park, and they're having all this crime. Have you seen this story?
No, I was watching the Seattle story about how CHAZ is eating their own. There's been rapes, shootings, and everything now, and all of a sudden now people are wanting the police. And also, did you see about CHAZ where they are being asked to dismantle by the mayor? And do you think that'll go easily?
Well, that's the big question, and that's a debate I started hearing a couple of days ago. Was okay, the CHAZ thing. How does that end? Because it has to end. It has to end one way or the other. Either it ends up as a country. I mean, that's extreme, but just to prove a point, it either ends up not being America, or it ends up where you have to go back in and clean it out, which could turn into WACO. This could turn into how many people are in there? How many of them are armed? What's going to happen? How is this going to go?
My theory is, I'm not thinking Waco or Ruby Ridge. I am thinking that under auspices of the mayor, they will dismantle, but they will have a chip in the big game, and they will dictate policy to the mayor, and she'll just go right along.
Well, she's obviously a leftist. She's a communist. But see, here's what's happening. And so these people, just like the people that I just referenced that live in the uppity neighborhood, that's like this person was telling a story how
yeah,
are you there? Okay, I'm losing microphone.
Oh, okay.
So what's going on here? Let me just dismiss that. They're like somebody, a resident was held at gunpoint, and this resident refused to call the cops because I don't want to subject these people to being killed by the police. That's like they could have killed you. They were armed. They're robbing you at gunpoint for your car. And you lose the narrative. And what's going to happen is to the mayor in Seattle is there's going to be it's going to come just like with Janet Reno. The only reason Janet Reno went into Waco was because they sat outside of Waco for, what was it, 60
right.
days? How long were they sitting outside Waco?
It was at least a month and a half.
It was a long time. And here's the reason. It's like, why? Okay, they're in there. We're out here. Fuck them. Let them, they'll run out of water or the toilets will back up eventually. And then the story changed. It was there's 40 or 50 or 60 kids in there. They're being abused. They're innocent victims. And you're going to stand out here and let this fucking happen? And it was like, fuck me, we're going in. And I don't care how much of a communist this woman is. She's not going to let this story, she's going to be forced to take action. Because there's kids or people getting, skinned alive and burnt, whatever is going to happen, this crazy animal farm disaster. It's just, she's going to have to do something about it.
What I don't understand is they're basically terrorists occupying American soil. Trump could move if he really wanted to, but I really believe he's holding back because that's what the left wants him to do. They want him to move so they can critique and tear down everything he did. I can see the headlines now. Trump murders innocents. All the anything they could do to tear him down. I think that's why he is holding back.
Okay. I've learned not to bet against Donald Trump, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize that. And we'll see how this works out long term, because Trump is sly like a fox. But tearing down statues of Grant and Francis Scott Key and an abolitionist and and all this this crazy burn. I'll tell you what pissed me off when they set that church on fire in Lafayette Park, across from Lafayette Park. I'm like, this is why I can't be president, because if I was president, I would have taken the Secret Service out of the West Wing and assaulted that fucking building. And I mean, that's fucking bullshit. And that's why I can't be president. And there's coming a point where I'm getting goddamn tired of Donald Trump sitting on his fucking ass, letting the communists have their way. Because that's exactly what this is. Maybe a year from now, I'll be on this very podcast saying Donald Trump was a genius and he won the game. But right now, I do not feel like I'm fucking winning. I don't feel like America's winning. Not
actually, you would think that with these leftist communist mayors, governors, whatever, that he would send Barr in to clean them up. Treason, anything. He has a lot of availability at, of which he could use under different, facets. Why he doesn't, I'll never know.
Look, everything Giuliani did to break up the mob in New York and the FBI did to break up the mob in Boston, all of this is so easily applicable to Antifa and BLM and a lot of these communist terrorist groups that are coordinated in RICO. They're engaged in
anti-American activity.
When they're engaging in like RICO violations across state lines, racketeering and across state lines, which makes it all federal. And it's like the money, the logistics, the communication, you could get them all. And it's like, it's not just some dude throwing a Molotov cocktail. All of it, you can really do some serious, they didn't bust John Gotti for throwing a fucking cocktail at somebody. They didn't bust John Gotti for shooting somebody. They got them on RICO charges. All those dudes got serious time. Al Capone got serious time for tax evasion. Like bullshit. I mean, I'm not happy one fucking bit, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend just because I'm a conservative and pretend that I'm going to suck Donald Trump's dick on this, because he looks like a fucking pussy to me today, and I am not fucking happy.
Oh, I agree. He has got to act. These people in these states that are allowing this, they're not going to vote for him anyway. I think he would gain more credibility by going in there and mopping them up than playing the passive game.
Well, here's the thing. This is then we're going to have to, because for some reason I'm losing microphones, and it might be because of the network. But here's the thing. Here's politically where you are correct. If you look at the demographics and the gender breakdown of the Republican Party versus the Democratic Party, more single unmarried women are Democrats. Suburban women, a lot of these women, more women tend to be Democrats, and men tend to be Republicans. A lot of these women are not going to be happy if there's a rise in crime, like violent crime across the country. That behavior will push these women to vote conservative.
Good point.
It will, and that's where, and here's something else. This is when the media is covering for Biden on this, because here's the thing. If these were Tea Party guys doing this, the media every day would be asking Donald Trump to disavow or address or explain. Nobody asks Joe Biden about any of this. Because they're covering.
Well, did you see that picture I sent of Biden coming out of the basement?
Yeah.
My president yet?
Yeah, my president yet?
That was very apropos, I thought.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you, we're going to have to wrap this one up, because I'm so afraid I'm going to lose you. I won't be able to do the toss at the end.
Sounds good.
This wraps up episode 178 of the John 1911 Podcast. If you want to see any pictures, stories, or links of anything we discussed, please go to our website, John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
It's night. Bye-bye.
Oh, fuck, that's right. It is. I'm in a bunker right now. I can't see shit. Good night, Danny. I'll see you.